So, I mean, that is the land of unconfirmed reports.
Yes, we came, we saw, he died.
Did it have anything to do with your visit?
No, I'm sure it did.
Do you think New York State should recognize gay marriage?
No.
No. Okay. Will you, let's talk about it. I'm going to run through these, and then we're going to this kid right here.
All key tenets making up the emerging racist ideology known as the alt-right.
Press seems determined to label the alt-right this misogynist, hateful, racist, homophobic, anti-Semitic movement, and yet at the same time tries to crown, you know, a gay Jew who never shuts up about his black boyfriends as the leader of it. Something isn't quite right here.
Can you concede that?
And I was very proud of him.
Did you talk about vice presidential possibilities with Senator Warren?
You guys have got to try the cold chai. I've been talking so.
Speaking of rumors that have gotten started, there's now the new one is that you are unhealthy, that you had a concussion.
Right.
That Rudy Giuliani was on Fox News yesterday and today, and he's saying you seem to be sick, you look tired, et cetera, et cetera. Are you in good health?
Well, this has become one of their themes.
When you look at that collapse, that video that was taken, you wonder if it's not more serious.
No,
than dehydration.
She's been, well, if it is, it's a mystery to me and all of her doctors, because it's frequently, not frequently, that's not it, rarely, but on more than one occasion over the last many, many years, the same sort of things happened to her when she just got severely dehydrated. And she's worked like a demon, as you know.
That's all I could say. I'm not, you know, I have no idea. That's why we turned it over. You were the official in charge. Did you wipe the surface? What, like with a cloth or something? Well, no. I don't know how it works digitally at all. I do not have any. Ed, I know you want to make a point.
Communication between two Platte River Networks employees. Here's how it read. Quote, wondering how we can sneak an email in now after the fact, asking them, meaning them we read to be the Clinton Executive Services Corporation, when they told us to cut the backups and have them confirm it for our records, starting to think this whole thing is really covering up some shady, and there's an expletive there. I just think if we have it in writing that they told us to cut the backups, then we can go public with our statement saying we've had the backup since day one. Then we were told to trim to 30 days. It would make us look a whole lot better. As I understand it, you were one of the two employees assigned to PRN in the Clinton account. Did you send or receive this email?
On advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer and assert my Fifth Amendment privilege.
Mr. Gambetta, 2 days after that last email, you wrote on August 21st, 2015 to an employee of a third-party backup firm called Datto. This is what it said, quote, we are trying to tighten down every possible security angle on this customer. It occurs to us that anyone at PRN with access to the data partner portal, i.e. everyone here, could potentially access this device via remote web feature. Can we set up either two-factor authentication or move this device to a separate partner account or some other method to allow only who we permit on our end to access this device via the internet? End quote. If I understand the email correctly, every single employee at PRN could have accessed some of the most highly classified national security information that has ever been breached at the State Department. Can you prove that no other individuals accessed this data or even passed it on to someone else?
On advice of counsel, I respectfully refuse to answer and assert my Fifth Amendment privilege.
Well, one last one here. Mr. Gambetta, you're an IT guy who's paid by the Clintons. generally IT guys don't don't erase their clients' emails unless they're told to do so. So who told you to delete the emails?
On advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer and assert my Fifth Amendment privilege.
Mr. Cummings, do you have any questions?
Yeah. Do you all plan to continue to assert your, Ms. Gabetta, Ms. Thornton, do you plan to continue to assert your Fifth Amendment rights? Is that your plan? Is that your plan?
On advice of counsel, I respectfully refuse to answer and assert my Fifth Amendment privilege.
At 10:08, with no evidence, at 10:08, before the attack is over, at 10:08, when Tyrone Woods and Glenn Doherty are still on the roof of the annex fighting for their lives, the official statement of the State Department blames a video. Why?
During the day on September 11th, as you did mention, Congressman, there was a very large protest against our embassy in Cairo. Protesters breached the walls. They tore down the American flag. And it was of grave concern to us because the inflammatory video had been shown on Egyptian television, which has a broader reach than just inside Egypt. And if you look at what I said, I referred to the video that night in a very specific way. I said, some have sought to justify the attack because of the video. I used those words deliberately, not to ascribe a motive to every attacker, but as a warning to those across the region that there was no justification for further attacks. And in fact, during the course of that week, we had many attacks that were all about the video. We had people breaching the walls of our embassies in Tunis and Khartoum. We had people, thankfully not Americans, dying at protests, but that's what was going on, Congressman.
Secretary Clinton, I appreciate most of those attacks were after the attack on the facility in Benghazi. You mentioned Cairo. It was interesting what else Ms. Nuland said that day. She said, if pressed by the press, if there's a connection between Cairo and Benghazi, she said this, there's no connection between the two. So here's what troubles me. Your experts knew the truth. Your spokesperson knew the truth. Greg Hicks knew the truth. But what troubles me more is I think you knew the truth.
I blame Hillary Clinton. I blame Hillary Clinton personally for the death of my son. That's personally.
She and the father of Tyrone Woods both say that on the day that their sons' bodies were returned to the United States, that you came up to them and you said it was all because of a video, not terrorism. Now, I know some of the other families disagree with this, and I know you deny it. My question is, why would they make that up?
Chris, my heart goes out to both of them. Losing a child under any circumstances, especially in this case, two State Department employees, extraordinary men, both of them, two CIA contractors, gave their lives protecting our country, our values. I understand the grief and the incredible sense of loss that can motivate that. As other members of families who lost loved ones have said, that's not what they heard. I don't hold any ill feeling for someone who, in that moment, may not fully recall everything that was or wasn't said.
When you hear Hillary Clinton saying what she just said, what goes through your mind?
Well, I know what she said, and it has nothing to do with faulty memory. As you know, I've shown this book to many people. I keep my brains in my pocket, and for years I write down the important things that happened during the day. And this was written down right after we met with Hillary, and so it has nothing to do with a faulty memory. And I'll read to you exactly what the conversation was that I had with Hillary This is just a couple days after what happened in Benghazi when the bodies came out. I gave Hillary a hug and shook her hand, and she said that we are going to have the filmmaker arrested who was responsible for the death of your son.